Kyle Ramos here, strongmengoodmen.com. So, are you ready for a relationship? Now, these are just a couple questions that I have that I think you should know the answer to. And if you can answer yes to all of them, then you might be ready. But this is not one size fits all by any stretch. Now, the first question is, do you know the difference between dating and a relationship? And is it a relationship that you're really looking for? Now, what I mean by this is, if you are the guy who went from one long-term relationship since the time you were in high school and dated the same girl for 2 or 3 years and then broke up with her, and a couple months later you met Susie and you dated her for 2 or 3 years, and then you guys broke up and you were distraught for a couple months, and then you met Sally and then you dated Sally for 2 or 3 years, right? If that's your scenario, you're probably not ready, because you need to date, okay? Dating women means you're hanging out, you go out to dinner, you have a couple drinks, you do this, you play putt-putt, whatever it is that you do, but you don't have to be in some ridiculous, committed, essentially marriage, right? You don't have to do that. Now, this is not to say that you got to go have sex with all these different girls. I know some guys like, well, I don't want to have sex with a bunch of different girls because, for whatever reason, they're adverse to that. That's fine. But you still need to date different people to find out what you do like and what you don't like, okay? So you have to play the field, right? This is number 2. You have to play the field so you can find out, well, I dated Sally and she did X, Y, and Z and I like that, but there was A, B, and C that, I don't like that. So when I dated Susie did this, but she also did this and she did this too that I didn't like. And so on and so forth. You'll understand what I'm saying. But the only way that you can figure out what you do like and don't like, and certain things that you might be able to tolerate, things that you definitely can't deal with, and actually understand that you have a good woman on your hands, is by experiencing bad ones. Some good, some bad, some in the middle, whatever. But that's the only way to actually know if you have a good one, right? So you have to do that to be successful. This idea that, oh, well, I met my soulmate and, we're going to be together forever, and we met when we were in high school. Well, listen, those are good stories in the movies, right? The reality is that those are few and far between, and the odds are highly stacked against you if you do something like that, okay? So we work here. There's no certainties, only probabilities. You want those probabilities to be high as possible. And I recommend that you have a nice, long, successful marriage with a good woman. And to extend the probability of that being successful, you have to have dated multiple people and figured out what are the traits that you do and don't like, okay? Number 1. So date around, have relationships, play the field, figure it out. Those are the first 2 things. Know the difference between dating and relationships, date around to figure it out. Now, are you financially stable? Because as we talked about before, women want somebody who's going to be able to provide for them. So you need to be financially stable. If you're not financially stable, you need to get there. And this doesn't mean that you have to be making $1 million a year or stuff like that. Just that you have a decent job, or you're in college and you have a path, some kind of path for either current or future stability. Okay? Then the next one is, are you in decent shape? You don't have to be a Mr. Olympia. You don't have to look like LeBron James. You don't have to have washboard abs. You just can't be a disgusting fat slob. And you can't be disheveled. You can't be dirty, smelly, unwashed clothes, thing like that. Are you in decent shape and taken care of? How is your hygiene? Do you have good hygiene? And are you in decent shape? Because I guarantee you, if you're a big fat slob, you can get a decent chick if you have enough money, but she's not going to really want to be with you, and she's probably a crazy person, because really hot girls, women that are normal, have a lot of options for successful guys who aren't fat, disgusting slobs, okay? So just be not a fat, disgusting slob. And that means don't be, 300 pounds, okay? Or it depends on your height, actually. And whatever. You understand what I'm saying. Take care of yourself. All right. And do you know what to avoid? This kind of has to do with the dating around thing, but do you know what to avoid? Do you know what the red flags are? Do you know the type of women that you should really be avoiding at all costs? Crazy people. There's a lot of crazy people out there that can play not crazy. Single mothers, women with daddy issues, the damsel in distress, right? She always has a problem. She needs you to fix for her. You need to know what to avoid and avoid that at all costs. And keep watching this channel. We're going to talk a lot about those things. And do you know how to maintain frame in the relationship? Do you know how to be an alpha male? And do you know how to set the tone in a relationship so that way you can be a man in the proper role in a relationship where you're setting the tone and you just maintain the frame in the relationship. And this is not just with women, this is with anything, but can you maintain frame in the relationship? And if you can answer yes to all these, then perhaps a relationship's right for you. And there's certain things, like if you can't maintain frame in a relationship, you're gonna die the death of 1,000 cuts, slowly but surely, in a relationship. That'll be very problematic. And if you can't avoid the crazies, that's gonna end up coming back to bite you. That's for sure. And just you really have to know what it is that you are looking for, both in either a dating, are you looking for a dating or a relationship? Like what type of relationship really? Is it long-term or is it just dating, what have you? Those are the things that you should look for. So if you can answer yes to all those questions, whereas you understand the difference between a long-term relationship and dating, what you want from that relationship, have you dated around to try to figure out, hey, okay, this is what I do and don't want. Do you know what to avoid? Are you financially stable? And do you know how to maintain frame? If you can answer yes to all those questions, then perhaps you're ready to have a long-term committed relationship once you can find the women that meets those criterias. And be very, very picky. Be very picky. Do not, under any circumstances, concede certain things. Do not concede to a crazy chick because you think you can fix her. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Perhaps you can help her and fix her. It's not worth it. It's just not worth taking the risk. So, again, thank you guys for listening. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, share it. Obviously, check out the website, strongmengoodmen.com. On the website, strongmengoodmen.com, you can join our community where you can get one-on-one coaching if you have a problem that you want to talk about with me personally, and I'll be happy to help you out with that. Thank you.